welcome to the first ever podcast episode of the Unfinished Cubby. With me today is my good friend Jeff Mustard. We are filming, and this is actually not the first episode that's ever been filmed. There's another episode that's been filmed, but I'm intending to show this one as the first episode.
Guinea pig.
The guinea pig episode. And this is the first one in the Cubby house. There is going to be background noise too. We're getting there it is. We're getting a new bedroom built actually, and that construction is going on while this first episode is being filmed. We thought about moving it, but we're set up here. This is the intended location, and it's even fitting with this podcast, which is to be about the messiness and the busyness of life and balancing many things. So just please excuse that, listeners. And Jeff, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Kris.
Thank
Appreciate
you for
it.
joining me. So the reason, or the topic that I wanted to talk about with you today.
Coffee break.
Can be the coffee break. Maybe I'll see if I can cut this through.
So,
I'm just wondering, maybe we should go to the office. What do you think?
Yes. I don't know.
Probably is going to be continuous. Let's go. Let's see how we go. I'll cut it out, or this is the thing. Anyway.
Just as long as you can hear us. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, as long as the sound gets picked up.
Yep. Cool. So the topic for today was, this is the Unfinished Cubby is a podcast about work-life balance.
Right.
And the topic is work-life balance is another term for lazy.
Yeah.
That's something that you had commented once, and I thought it was a fantastic first topic for a podcast about
work-life balance.
Yeah. And I was really interested to dig into it too, because you are someone who appears to me to have what I would call a very good work-life balance, in that you spend a lot of time with your family. You've homeschooled your two boys.
My two sons, yeah.
You spend make a lot of time to do trips with them, spend time with them, and I know home life is really important to you, and I know your work life is really important to you too. I wanted to ask, what do you mean when you what does work-life balance?
So the concept that dwelled with me quite a long time was there was always this thing about, you read books about, work-life balance, you've got to have this, and everyone's sort of tries to sell you something about life being easy.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's trying to say, oh, look, here, make $1 million by flipping houses, or, go to the stock market and you'll get your work-life balance, and you don't have to stress about this and stress about that.
Sure, yeah.
Right? So I've always been sort of keen to be beyond who I am.
Okay.
By actually trying to achieve these little bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, Suzanne and myself, Suzanne's my wife, and in the past, yes, we had 7 houses, we had investment properties, we had, we utilised the system to actually pay us more money. You know what I mean? These things were there, and they're all real, and people can do this. There's no capacity, but the concept around actually not having stress and not having some kind of easy way of doing something, or a work-life balance that says, oh, here's integrate this with that, and then you don't have to work 9 to 5. You can be with your family and la la la. It is la la la. It is a dream that sort of, but it's more of a dream of not doing anything.
Sure. Yep.
I mean, Tim Ferriss, a fantastic guy, wrote a book, a 4-hour work week.
Yep.
All right. Not sure if you read it or not, but he runs a podcast as well. But he's the things that he was talking about, and there's things that still had to be done.
Sure. Yep.
And while that's a fantastic way of doing it, it's basically offloading your responsibilities onto somebody else and basically outsourcing your life is the summary of the book.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
All right. So yes, you can outsource your life, or you can, and that's great. You can create your own work-life balance by being a capitalist and offloading it to cheap labour somewhere else in India or Pakistan or Azerbaijan.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, so what I'm trying to get at in here, just as a summary, that was just sort of a summary of what I was trying to get at, is that when we come together as humans, we have to work.
Yep.
We need to achieve our goals and a sense of worth. We don't achieve a sense of worth by doing nothing.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, sorry.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
One of the things that we've done is over our lives is yes, we've got two beautiful sons. One works for you, as you know, and the other one is only 14, but he's goal-driven, goal-orientated. And it's fantastic. Both of them have their own special idiosyncrasies, but they're not without their attitude of hard work. They have both of them have
absolutely vouch for that. They're very motivated, incredibly so for teenage boys.
Yeah,
and they're very driven and know what they want from life too. So
exactly right. And so that's a great testimony of them perceiving what hard work is.
Mm.
Yes, it's difficult when we have. It's difficult when you want to be with your kids all the time, right? Especially when you homeschool. I think that the schooling system creates a lot of space for adults, and they can do, two parents working creates a space for that sort of thing. Allows a lot of space for adults. Doesn't allow a lot of space for children, and doesn't allow a lot of space for relationships. Now, within a sense of work-life balance, I feel, this is my feeling, this is all my opinion, Kris.
No.
You understand
that's what you're here for, yeah.
And I've perceived that the way that we try and achieve more for doing less, and that's why I see that this whole concept of work-life balance is a fallacy. It's trying to create this level of laziness.
So what I'm hearing is the term for you means like it's a get rich quick
scheme.
And not to say and you're saying that can even work, but it's not without its own cost, which in your own experience is a greater cost than
the stress.
Just putting in the hard work.
Some things are predictable, right? When you go to work 9 to 5 and you do this, or you have a side hustle as well. Look, I encourage people to have a side hustle if they want to get ahead. You have to work. You have to work 18 hours a day. You have to do your 9 to 5, create your base work, and then do your side hustle, whatever that is, whether it's on the phone consulting, whether it's writing, code, whether it's writing content for someone who's asked you to write content for the website or the LinkedIn or whatever. Do that. Create your own hustle. Whether even it's Shopify, we don't care, but you have to work to achieve an outcome that then possibly you can have some freedom to do nothing.
And so look, and this is kind of, I guess, what work-life balance means most of all for me is how do you manage to do that? How do you manage to have a 9 to 5 and a side hustle and raise children, homeschool children, plus have maybe a little bit of time for yourself and sometimes sleep as well? Like how do you balance
I think you have to start with all things with the end in mind.
Okay.
You know, Stephen Covey was talking about it in the 7 Habits of Successful People.
Oh, yeah.
Right, he talks about start with the end in mind. So what is it that you want?
Yep.
You know, it's not what you want next week. It's what you want in 20 years.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I find that easier now that I am a father and I have a family, but it's something that I've always struggled with, and I certainly did before I was a father, and some things came to have more priority, more value. What can I ask you? What's your end that you work towards and that drives you? I guess.
I think my end is to have a life of roaming adventure.
Yeah, cool.
With my family.
Yep.
Okay. Now, that sounds a bit weird, and that sounds a little bit like, how's he going to do that? Because I work for myself. The hours I put in, I'm still trading my time for money.
Yeah.
So how do I achieve that? Okay, so I don't have to trade my time for money. I get someone else to work for me, right? How do you do that?
Yeah.
So at the end, my end game is that we love traveling, our family. We love that. That's what we love.
Yeah.
We make time to do that, as you know, Kris. You know, take my boys for 2 weeks away overseas.
Vietnam recently.
Thanks for bloody COVID. But yeah,
not that recently. Yeah. No.
But COVID's put a stop to that for the time being.
Yeah.
But that is we love our adventure. We love going, seeing different cultures, experiencing that.
Yep.
And we do have a bit of a social framework around this as well, because without understanding where people are and who they are and why they think the way they do, we have no understanding of how to integrate ourselves into our own community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's part of that adventure.
So adventure and travel, and then also community are things that you want to prioritize. And I mean, I see you doing that now. Like, you know, that those are both a big part of your life now. When you say set the end goal in mind, is it something that you then immediately begin living as well, or is that something that you've built up towards to be able to have this life? Because when you talk about an end goal, I think about something that's a future thing to achieve through hard work.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's.
There's also.
Are you at your
No.
at your end, or are you still working towards it?
Still working towards it.
Okay. Yeah.
As you know, Kris, I went through in 2016. I went through a real scary medical situation, and I didn't come out of that until 2017.
Yep.
And pretty sure it was 17. Anyway, it feels like a long. It was a shitty year.
I do remember. Yeah.
And I made a sort of commitment to myself then to actually try and experience life more.
Yep.
Now, when we talk about life, we don't talk about, okay, put work over there and life. Work and life are not two different things.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
People sometimes confuse their identity with their work. Right? And a lot of people do this, like 98% of the population confuse, who are you? Oh, I'm a programmer, for example.
Yeah,
who are you? I'm an auditor.
In Australia, what do you do is the first question.
Yeah. And it's what do you do is that they tag you as that's your identity.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
It's always good to go to parties and say, oh, what do you do? I'm a drug dealer. You know, it's always good to throw something else at them.
Yeah.
Because they go, oh, what? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And they immediately put you in a box. Oh, you own a Lexus. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's that's the first thing of actually creating a work-life balance or a target towards your own goal is to disassociate yourself or move yourself away from linking your identity to what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the first thing that a human needs to do. Because once you move that, you say, oh, hi, I'm Jeff. Oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, they ask, who are you? What they're asking is, who are you?
Yeah.
You don't go to a party and say, hi, I'm Jeff. I'm an accountant, for example.
Yeah.
No. Hi, I'm Jeff. I do these things, but this is not who I am. People say, I am an accountant. I am a programmer.
Yeah.
So the I am is very important in any conversation to actually get to the understanding of what you want to do in your world. What you want to do at the end depends on how you define yourself at the beginning.
Okay. So I'm going to close this and see if I cut out some of that noise. So does that mean you have a different I am?
Yeah.
What is your I am?
I am Jeff Mustard.
And no.
There's no tag sitting on the back of it.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no hashtag. There's no.
Yeah.
There's no Twitter account. There's no no Facebook or no LinkedIn. This is who I am. I am Jeff Mustard. An individual who stands with family in this world.
Yeah. Here we go with some more. I'm going to push through though. No, not at all. No. I mean, I'm going to push through this noise. That's also something that I always struggle with, and I notice how powerfully my identity, my sense of self, and especially then my self-worth is tied to my work, and so my self-worth and my success at work are very closely tied, which I absolutely know isn't healthy.
No. What happened if you lost all your fingers? For example.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
or you had a muscular dystrophy or something like that.
And was no longer able to do my work.
Able to
would
do
I
that.
still exist?
Yeah. Are you still Stephen Hawkins?
Yeah.
Can you still create an imagination of the universe and then communicate that?
Yeah.
Or how is it that you express yourself in that?
Yeah.
Right? Sorry.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Part of
That's
part of understanding what work, life is this big circle, right?
Yeah.
Work is this other circle inside life.
Yeah. And look, I also, I almost wanted to call this podcast balance, but it was a bit too general. And work-life balance, I like the idea of using that term because it connects people to something where balance doesn't quite, but actually what I do want this to be about much more is actually balance, about having balance in your life and in yourself. But I do just want to dig in a little bit too to if you're not your vocation or some other thing that you associate your identity with, how do you know who you are? And this is I ask for myself, and I'm sure a lot of people. I mean, that's huge. I think that's one of the biggest. I think for me certainly that's one of the biggest challenges in life, and
it all starts. If I can tell a story on this,
sure.
I think it's important for everybody to realise that it's not something you wake up in the morning and go, oh fuck, this is who I am, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
It just doesn't happen. The reality of it is that it all starts with your insecurities.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds scary.
Okay. No, but it's really important. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Because once you identify, if you start working through your life and just work can be an excuse to hide your insecurities. I was talking about this to Suzanne last night, and this is really something. If you're really, really good at something, right, you start defining yourself by that thing that you're really, really good at.
Yeah.
Okay. But if that goes away, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Your whole life has been filled with these insecurities that you've wrapped in a box, put in a corner, and depended on this skill set that you've got. You're the best in the world at.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That disappears. Who's left?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Okay. So we need to step all the way back and identify and try and pinpoint every insecurity that you've got in your life. Okay. Because those insecurities are the things that define you. Yeah. Because they're the things that they're the things you're afraid of when you're 3 years old, the monster under the bed. They're the things that, what happens if my mum and dad run away?
Yeah.
Why am I alone at 4?
Yeah.
All these little insecurities that occur in our world, in our life, that define us now, are who define us.
Yeah, yeah. Can I love it, look, I absolutely love this, and there's a few reasons why. I definitely won't do one of these on a Sunday morning again. I mean, that sound noise, that's the neighbour's noise there. But anyway, I apologise, listeners, this is just how it goes. I'm doing a lot lately of leaning into my fears. Like, so I have for me, it's especially around social situations, and I'll have a fear arise in me, that filters me from speaking. And I'm really trying to now, when I feel that fear, do a quick objective look and go, is there any harm? Is there any problem with what? And when there's not, and I can, objectively go, that's an irrational fear, then I make myself do it, even though it's a bit scary. And this podcast right now is bringing up a lot of that for me. Not in this specific moment. I feel really comfortable talking to you now that we're going, but it was on the line this morning as to whether I went, yes, let's give it a miss. And yeah, I mean, this hasn't launched at the time I'm doing this. I'm especially afraid of judgment, of how people will see me, and how unprofessional is this sitting in this kind of a studio with all of this Sunday background noise. Yeah. So and that. Anyway, that's good to hear, because I'm making a point of. I've always struggled with knowing who I am. I'm really trying to jump into my own insecurities at the moment. So that's encouraging for me to hear you say those are very much.
You have to start at the front. Like, you have to start, and this is why psychologists make a coin. They make a coin. These counsellors, they make a coin out of your insecurities, right? And
processing past trauma and stuff like that as well. I mean,
all those trauma and things like that.
Healing,
it's part healing, but those things are those things. A lot of reflection that happens in your own life can actually deal with those insecurities as you move through them.
Yep.
Reflection is really important in this whole picture.
Yep.
Sometimes you need that third person. No, don't get me wrong. I've had, to the glory of Medicare, I've utilised 10 visits to counselling, right?
No.
And I've utilised that, okay? And it's really good to have a third person who's going to wrap up whatever you say in a box and then put it on the fire, and not actually, it's not actually talk to anybody about it. It's wrapped up and secure. Yeah. So, but it helps you actually deal with those insecurities.
For sure. Yeah.
And that's really good. We've got that, mental health week happening, all that sort of stuff. We've got a whole slew of things going on. We had the Are You OK movement still going on. It's a certain day in September. But
it always comes up on my Facebook feed. Yeah.
But these sort of things are. We need to ask ourselves these questions. We need to check in with our insecurities.
Yep.
We don't put them in a box, because as soon as you put them in a box, they're just going to grow, because they're going to feed off whatever sort of you put under the door of the cupboard, right?
For sure. Yep.
But we need to bring them out, and that's the initial start. Getting back to what I was saying about who am I? Anyway. So once we actually deal with those insecurities, we actually start creating an understanding of who we are. You go, that environmental situation, that situation happened, and that changed me to think like this. So I think, therefore I am. So these things start to actually, my understanding of how the reason I think about things is the reason because this environmental construct happened around me, my environment, an issue happened, that sort of thing.
And so what I'm hearing in that then as well is kind of embracing your past and things that have affected and shaped you in your past, and going, that is actually who I am. It's my story, because that can often be very much a layering of a construct on top of it. But the events that have happened, that have shaped me, and my access to them is through my insecurities, because that's where my defense mechanisms have come up to protect me from that.
Exactly.
That's actually the thing that makes me, because we're not talking about, in this way, we're not talking about like a more, say, religious philosophical concept of a universal self that we're plugged into and we're all the same and all light underneath there or something. We're talking about the bit that makes us unique.
Yeah.
You know, if we do say all beings kind of come from the same origin, it's then the events in our lives, the significant things that affect us, that shape us, and that's who we are. Yeah.
That's what evolution is. You got personal evolution.
Yeah, okay, yep.
You got global biological evolution that happens, slowly. But then we've got internal evolution that occurs through issues, trauma, like I said before, confrontation, tears, all those sort of things that shape us the way we think and help us understand who we are. What do we think like that? What happened there?
Yeah.
What happened there that caused me to actually go off the rails? Or what happened there that caused me to go into this deep depression?
Yeah.
What happened there that caused me to sort of feel so much joy?
Yeah.
And it appeared to be nothing.
Yeah.
But I felt so much joy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
These things, yes, we can. Some people can plug in. Yes, I plug into the divine, and it's all, we're all really sweet. But again, that someone's trying to say something.
Oh yeah.
Because we are part of. We all have the same DNA. It's just mixed around different.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We all have a linkage to Mother Earth. We all have a linkage to the air we breathe. The air you breathe out gets processed by that tree in here, and I breathe it in.
Mm-hmm.
We are all interlinked from a biological nature.
Yeah.
So to actually go, oh, you're of this tribe and I'm of this tribe, fuck off.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what we're trying to do is we're trying to understand ourselves so we can be more empathetic and considering of the people that are next to us.
Mm-hmm.
Because, what happened to that person? Oh, that person's a narcissist. Oh, are they? Why? You know what I mean? Why are they a narcissist? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, that's the actions that they did to present that. But where's the trigger point?
Sure. Yeah. Having understanding.
Yeah. It creates compassion.
Yeah.
Because we are primarily selfish. That's what it is, being a selfish gene. Like we are, Richard Dawkins talks about the selfish gene.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And we do things for our offspring. We do things for ourselves. We want to survive.
Yeah.
As a biological response. So we are basically, we start off as selfish.
Look, that's an interesting one. I'm going to accept that for the purpose of the conversation.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not that we're unloving.
Yeah.
It's not that we're unloving. It's just that we start off as selfish, but we create our own love.
That's absolutely true.
We create a love.
Yeah.
We create the environment of love, and love is a biological response. Actually, it's actually built into us to love.
Mm-hmm.
To be caring for the next person, because if we're not caring to that person will destroy us.
Mm-hmm.
So love and selfishness are actually together in the same little package when we're born. And we actually grow them together and create a wonderful family. We create wonderful relationships. We create all this beautiful thing because these things actually mold together. We shouldn't be afraid of our selfishness.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't be afraid of the love that tries to reach out and get people as well. Like, tries to not get people, but to express itself.
Yeah. I did listen to
Sorry
some.
about that.
Not at all. No. That's fantastic. And I listened to something recently, and I'm not going to be able to source it, and I'm not going to be able to capture it completely properly either. But it introduced to me for the first time the idea that compassion and I don't know if they use the word selfishness, but certainly like tribalism are actually intimately linked, because when you're feeling compassion towards someone, it's actually about going, we're the same. It's recognizing the similarity that you have. And
The Social Dilemma talks about that quite a lot. The movie, the Netflix film, actually touches on that a little bit.
We just watched that recently, actually. That's not the thing that I'm thinking of. But yeah, okay. But where is that in there? Because that's...
it talks about tribalism, about connecting with people who have the same thoughts.
Sure. Yeah.
You're one of us.
Yeah. For sure. And how insane that is in our world right now, where there's such divisiveness around that. But kind of, a part of that I like how you put it. It's the same bundle: our selfishness and our love, and our empathy and our.
It's the same thing. It grows together. You've got to nurture both to actually become a whole person. Because both, you're not going to go, oh, I love you so much, I'll let you destroy my family. No, fuck off. No, my selfishness says my family is important to me, therefore I will defend it.
Yeah.
But anyway, life balance.
Yeah.
Work-life balance. So once we've understood who we are, or understand our insecurities, we can then know that we can do anything to survive. We can.
Yeah.
We can then create our life. Work is a very important part of that, because our life is here, our work is this part, our family is this part. It's all in the same circle. It's not, okay, work's over here in a tray, and life's over here in a tray, and we do this with the scales. It's not that.
Can I? You just then said, when we dig into our insecurities, then we realize we can do anything. I'm paraphrasing, but there. And that's interesting. I think what you're saying is a lot of people, myself very included, are used to and strive to, and it's kind of live within a comfort bubble and go, this is what I know and this is what's safe. But part of that as well is, includes a particular construct about what the world is, and it keeps us, it's also kind of a buffer from a deeper reality to what is. So, like a really superficial or a way to kind of capture that with an example might be something like, I know I need to have this particular income to be safe, whereas actually potentially you could live on far less, because there's many ways to get your food and shelter needs taken care of in this world. That's not the best example of it at all.
I understand what you're saying, but can I try and clarify that with an example?
Yeah.
I'll give you two examples. In my consulting business, I talk to clients. I talk to a company.
Yep.
And I say to them, because they're usually small businesses and they're run by a husband and wife or business partners or whatever. And the first thing I ask them is, what do you want? What is it that you want out of life? What is it that you want? And I go, I don't understand what you're talking about. Well, let's start with...
How do they have an answer to that?
So let's start with how much money you need to live.
Yeah.
All right. One client I had, and I said, okay, so you want this much money at the end of the day, at the end of the financial year, you want this profit. You want to be able to have shareholder dividends that be able to pay your house, put your kids through private school, and do this, right? You want to be able to do that, yeah? Yes. And you want to be able to draw wages during the year? Yes, we do. But you still want this profit, right? Yeah. Okay, let's work back from that. Okay. How many hours of work do you have to, how many products do you have to sell to actually achieve that? Oh, we have to do. So they do the math. So okay, so what does that mean per week to be able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to charge this much money per hour for your service. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Okay, we'll charge it.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah.
And I go, those guys went on to be one of the most successful businesses in their field in Far North Queensland. They then sold it, and the guy's achieved his dream. He plays golf every 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, and their kids are successful, paid their houses off, they've done everything they wanted to do, and now they're living a life that's quite comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, none of that is about kind of abstract, deep personal values. That's simply, financially, what do you need?
Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah. What financial outcomes do you want?
Yeah. And the next example is, I've got a mate of mine, and he was always worried about not having enough work. So I need work. And I said, okay, settle down, Pete. Because he gets really stressed easy and everything like that.
Yep.
Love the guy. And I said to him, look, mate, just what is it that you need to survive, or to be comfortable, to do in your little road trips, to go on your motorbike and to do the things that you need to do? What is it that you need? I need this much work. Okay, well, how much work does that mean? Now, he's happy with 3 days a week work, that allows him to go and do his motorbike.
Yeah.
But that he had to actually think about what he needed. So we start with what we need first.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we're coming back to start with the end in mind. What is it that we need to actually have a lifestyle that we want? Now remember, the life's a big bubble. Work is part of that bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to actually work out how much work that we need to do to actually create the life that we want. It's not a work-life balance. It's a work-life goal.
Interesting. Yeah. It makes sense. It's different to how I tend to think about it. What I like about it, and I think what I could get a lot of value from actually taking that approach, is it's extremely pragmatic, and you're being honest and transparent with yourself.
Yeah.
I've kind of done a thing where I go, all right, need to cover the family's costs and the mortgage and things like that, and I can do that. And this time, so a little,
Yeah,
a
it's
bit
very
like
much
that.
like that, yeah.
But I would like, I do have other dreams, a larger dream that has a financial, and rather than work all of the time to earn that, I invest my time in more entrepreneurial endeavors.
That's your hustle.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And it's sort of I don't rely on any of that, but it's sort of the effort that can move things forward much more so than just doing extra time. Yeah. So
understanding what you want is always an important part of understanding who you are. Work-life balance is this is why I think that, again, we come back to this work-life balance. People are out there. You look at every successful person. You sacrificed your children for your goal of being a multi-billionaire. Well, maybe. Have I? Have my kids seen me work hard and then they work hard? Or have my kids just been given everything so that they're lazy little shits that just go and do whatever they want, because they've got daddy's money. And as soon as they get hold of a gun, daddy's over. You know what I mean? Like, what's the outcome of what you're trying to
for sure.
communicate?
Absolutely.
When it comes to my family, I'm, and you're testament to my eldest. He's very dedicated in what he does.
Yeah.
He's task orientated. He's not hourly orientated. That's another key thing that's happened out of COVID is people are learning to be task orientated, which is really, really important for work-life balance. Right? Do the task, finish the task, get paid for the task, do what you want.
Yeah. Do you see a transition happening now, like in regards to what work is, and specifically say people being paid based on task results rather than hours? Do you imagine that?
I think it'd be really great for people to be paid on task.
Yeah.
Because then people then are actually valued. Like you've gone to school you've gone to uni for 4 years, you've done this, you've had all this life experience, you've applied what your learnings, and you are at this level in your game, right? You go into a job, they don't pay you for that. They pay you for the time you sit on the seat, right? They don't actually pay you for the knowledge inside your head. They don't pay you for the experience that that they're just paying you an hourly rate.
Yeah, totally. And
this is the problem, because this is why the whole thing of work-life balance is such an appealing. Oh, look, do this, churn 100 houses and you'll be a millionaire and fly in helicopters and shit. No. That's why that is so appealing, because people aren't valued. So when people aren't valued, they look for that. They look for the quick rich scheme. They look for how to do this sort of shit.
Yeah.
This is why hustles work, because people are starting to believe in themselves and they do the hustle.
Yeah.
Because I can do this. This is who I am. I understand how this happens.
Yeah.
So they're actually becoming valued. They value themselves.
Yeah. Look, I completely agree with that, and working for myself is definitely motivated from, like, you know, I did a lot of jobs where it was like, I'm being paid for sitting in this seat. Yeah. And that's the most soul destroying thing in the world, to just kind of go, doesn't really doesn't really matter what I've got and what I'm doing. It's just the hours that I'm here. I'm interested too. I didn't know that you used to have 7 houses and went on that kind of a path for for setting up your life. I'm interested to hear sort of. I mean, I guess I know a little bit now about what motivated that, but what was the experience like, and how'd you go, and how did you come out of that?
Okay,
and why?
The thing is, I mean, a lot of this stuff happened because a desire to actually, it was following this dream of a work-life balance, spending more time with your family, you know, being with a young fella who was just born and live more time with him, right? And have more time with this little creature that sort of had this, he's going to hate me for saying this because he's 18th birthday, I don't care. He had a big, you know, he was born with a full head of hair. You know, like, I'm pretty sure he could have dreadlocked it like 2 days after he was born. You know? But yeah, wonderful kid. But the motivation was, I had this perception of reality that to be a good father, you had to spend a lot of time with your son, right?
Yep.
And I think that is a goal of all fathers, is to spend time with their kids.
Yeah.
Because we feel we're disconnected as soon as a child is born. As soon as a child is conceived, we're disconnected.
What do you mean by that?
I mean by that because the child is physically attached to the mother.
Yeah.
From conception.
Yeah. Through
to, you know, however long the child chooses. Yeah, the parents either chooses to breastfeed the child.
Okay. Yep.
And that is, there's some papers around this and books written about how fathers feel like they're just the third wheel, you know, after the first birth.
Okay. Yeah.
And they feel disconnected. They feel like, oh well, I don't have a woman anymore. Someone else has.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, that woman's focus is on the survival of that being, not on me.
Yeah.
We sometimes have, men sometimes have this experience where they have post-natal depression.
Yep, I do know what you're talking about, and
So men do have this, and it creates angst in the relationship and all that sort of thing, and it's not good. And I think that men need to understand that that's important. That their role then is, yes, it's okay to be disconnected. Learn again, another point of insecurity, another point of how do you understand who you are. But hey, I'm feeling disconnected. My whole life has been around with this woman. Mm-hmm. Okay, well now, mate, you've got someone else. Who are you?
Yep.
What are your insecurities that are causing you to lash out at a little one or your woman or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that is creating this insecurity in you?
Yep.
Understand what that is, and then you'll be able to say, hey, look, this is my family. And yes, we feel a bit disconnected, and that's fine. I suppose what we're getting back there is that, I wanted to have I was trading option shares, I was doing all this, there was a time there that we came across some really nice shares that we could basically earn $1,000 a month just by clicking a button.
Mm-hmm.
And that was awesome. Life was sweet. And we could holiday and do things like that. We weren't stuck at home when we holidayed, So, but there were some positives there. And we're very fortunate to earn enough money for Suzanne to stay at home and look after the youngster. And I think that's one of the most important things is to have a stay-at-home parent, whether it's a male or the female. I don't care, really, because what that does is create connection with the child, and the child feels more secure. It's not part of that big social experiment of sending kids to daycare.
Yep.
And I'm going to offend probably 1,000 people by saying that, but I don't care. But yeah, that was the motivation, was to actually create a life that, here's another income stream that I could, negatively gear, not pay as much tax, have a tax return, have the government pay that extra 25% of my wages I can actually use on my family. So there's a lot of that financial.
Were you working in at the same time as well? This was all additional.
No, this is additional.
Yeah.
Because you to actually do house investment, you've got to have a job. You've got,
get your loans in the first place.
You need a 9-to-5 job. You need to be a pay-as-you-go tax earner. You need all that sort of stuff. As soon as you turn into a sole trader or a single entity company, you're screwed trying to get stuff. Unless you've got really, really good accountants. But it's pretty much really hard going. So you're better off, if you're a pay-as-you-go person, and bloody housing investment.
Yeah.
But the payment for that, there is a payment. There is, yes, it's all nice to have that money and not pay tax and all that sort of shit. You've got the stress of actually managing $1 million worth of loans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're 35 years old and you go, fuck, I've got $1 million worth of loans. I've got $1.6 million worth of property. Yeah. But I've got $1 million worth of
or of debt.
The brain goes to the debt.
No, for sure. No.
It doesn't go to the line. It doesn't go, wow, I've got all this assets.
Yeah.
It goes, fuck. But that's part of it. And that's, and then things happened, and there was some emotion. Yeah. When emotion gets involved in financial decision making, especially when you go into housing, and that there was a term that once said that a woman will spend, could be the same for a guy with a suit, I don't know, but a woman will spend longer deciding on a pair of shoes than she will buying a house. Okay. So she'll sit down and decide for hours. She'll sit in a store for hours to buy the right pair of shoes. They'll take her 15 minutes to make, I love this place. Okay. And guys will do the same thing. I love this place. Bang, emotional going, you've got it. You're stuck. But anyway, that's just a side issue. But these emotions actually come part of the problem, and it was part of my downfall.
Okay. The point being, you're making the decision based on deeply emotional things rather than a rational kind of rule set and formula which I've certainly heard. I have a friend who's very successful in trading a particular type of instrument, and he's so clear about he's figured out the way to do it. Yeah. And the challenge is just sticking to that, and he measures himself by that, not by
profit or loss.
Yeah. Just how well he can stick to that, and it's
and that's part of the thing that fell over for us.
Right.
And we had to get rid of all those houses. We sold them all and moved on.
And so, do you mind if I ask more specifically? Like,
sure. What are you talking about?
Oh, just was it an element of fear then? Like you were talking about the stress of having all of that debt, even though you've got those assets. Was it?
It was an emotional family component that just sort of like, it probably shouldn't have happened. It should have just gone, no, I need to walk away from this. And I think one of the key things is I knew the outcome, what the outcome was going to be. Yeah. And I didn't explain from myself. I didn't explain the overall risks and the overall dangers of what that was going forward. I didn't explain it out properly. Okay. And there was a whole emotional content around that.
Yeah. Because that is the thing, right? You have this incredible portfolio, but you also do have all this risk. Yeah. And that it's appropriate to feel a level of stress about that, because that is
Sure.
it is dependent on many factors. It's not.
And these risks are not only, it's not only debt risk. There's these other things that we have around risks associated with family, risks associated with work, risks associated with environment. A whole suite of, like when I talk about environment, I just don't talk about green trees and stuff. I mean, what are those other pressures that come from different stuff? And yeah, that's that's how it is. And I've learned a lot about that. And yes, I can, because of my failures in that, it's given me a sense of security around who I am.
Cool, fantastic.
Right? So that's again coming back to who we are.
Yeah. So to have tried and failed and found a lot of to have been very challenged and found a part of yourself that you didn't like even, and going, all right, that gives you a much deeper understanding of yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm also kind of hearing and kind of connecting a dot here as well, a couple of dots. I think now you value there's being present in your life more, and actually having a much more pragmatic, I guess, financial plan for your life that works day to day, gives you much more peace in yourself and achieves what you want.
Exactly.
Without a whole bunch of so going for the more abstract.
It's about the things that are constantly talking.
Yeah.
Because we have those.
Yeah.
Where people talk about self-talk.
Yeah.
But we do have other things that actually have voices.
Yeah, and so would it be fair to say then too that by facing your fears and by approaching your life with eyes much more wide open and pragmatically, it shuts down a lot of those voices that perhaps actually have a valid point, maybe in some of what they're saying.
You still have fears.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah.
You can I suppose you know where you are.
Yeah.
In your journey to be able to go, yeah. I'll shake your hand. Thanks very much. I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's move forward.
Yeah.
It's not you're not trying to. I think it's better not to fight your fears.
Not to fight your fears? No. What do you mean?
Well, you can run away from something that scares you. You were talking about this before. You said about taking on your fears and some of your fears. I'll just step into it.
Yeah.
That's it. Make friends with your fears.
Sure. Yeah.
Don't fight it.
Yeah.
Don't run away.
Yeah.
There'll be times when you go,
Me too.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can handle this. I need to run away.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's not. You're just not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
But it'll pop up again in the circle of life. It'll pop up again, and you go, oh, okay, mate.
Yeah.
That's enough now. Give you a hug and let's move on together.
Yeah. 100%. And I like that. And there's a song. Is that Nani Safka? I've faced my demons and made friends. I don't know. That's terrible. But there's also the Dr. Zeus. What was I afraid of? Where the pale green pants with nobody inside him, and finally meets them and they become friends. Jeff, it's just about an hour, which is...
Is that all right? Like, we covered enough? Yeah.
Well, I was only intending to do kind of 15, 20 minutes. No, that's absolutely awesome. It's fantastic. I love what we've gone into. And I'm really pleased. I'm disappointed about all the background noise, and I'll need to sort of rethink that a little bit. But no, this is wonderful. I've really enjoyed the conversation. I kind of... This podcast is a personal journey for me as well.
Sure, right.
And I had no idea where we were going to go, and I love what we've gone into, and it's been really valuable for me, and therefore hopefully for other people who listen. I feel good about wrapping up there if you do too.
Yeah.
And probably at some point in the future, if you're up for it, I'd love to talk to you again.
Yeah, anytime. Like, yeah, I'm happy to come back and yeah, it'd be good to hear what other people's opinions are as well, because I think it's good to be open to
Definitely.
multiple points of view.
Yeah.
And that'd be good, because
Well,
everyone has a different experience.
Definitely. And if you want to hear different people's opinions, be sure to subscribe to the Unfinished Cubby podcast, and we'll have lots of that.
Excellent. Sounds great, mate.
Cool.
Sounds
All
great.
right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
I sort of think, do you remember those? And
Yeah, I have seen interviews like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. The whole thing is quite...
I thought what I would do, I only just found out about this recently, so I'm recording now just to let you know, but I'll kick it off in a minute. But I thought I'd have my camera there on the I mean, I don't now, obviously, but as a potential future setup. And then this like this. I think it's good.
Oh, that's good. So just splice it up. Like, in the future, you'll just splice the two.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll do that with this as well. Like, I'll get 2 video recordings here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I'll alternate between. I don't know yet, actually, or else maybe one of us will be in a box, or there'll be 2 boxes. I don't know. You ready?
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know. I don't know either. I did the interview with Cam, and afterwards we both were just going, I didn't know what to do with my hands, and so
I think it's just I suppose that we'll have our own way that we do stuff. So,
yeah.
So what I'll do, I'll just clear my glasses because I can't see. And that's one thing that someone said to me once. Said, "Oh, make sure your glasses are clean."
Yeah, right.
But anyway.
Awesome. You look good.
Thanks, man.
All right, here we go.